If you watch this channel, you know that we make a lot of content about the Marriott Bonvoy program. In this video, I'd like to go over another hotel program we like, which is the World of Hyatt program, and do it through the eyes of a platinum member with Marriott. We'll look at the structure of the World of Hyatt program and compare it to the equivalent offerings at Marriott. If you find this kind of content helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It helps with the algorithm and helps us decide what content to make. Now let's get started. Late last year, I got a Hyatt credit card from Chase, and on a trip I took by myself, stayed at a couple of Hyatt properties in Japan. I have stayed in Hyatts before, but last year is when my wife and I got serious about exploring the brand more thoroughly. I made room tours of the two properties I stayed in, which I'll link below if you want to check them out. I enjoyed both of my stays, so my wife and I have booked 4 stays at Hyatt so far for 2025 in Hawaii, Australia, Taiwan, and Japan. We plan on doing room tours of those hotels as well, but for now I wanted to look at the program through the eyes of someone who is familiar with another hotel loyalty program, in hopes the contrast between the two will be helpful. Now, again, if you've watched some of our other videos, you probably know that my wife and I are somewhat loyal to Marriott, and we use the Marriott Bonvoy program as our primary loyalty program with hotels. There are several reasons for this, which I'll go over in a minute. We are platinum with Marriott, which you can earn by staying 50 nights a year in Marriott properties, by holding one or more Marriott credit cards, or a combination of both. We've made several videos on the subject, some of which are pictured here, talking about our experiences with Marriott Platinum. We also talk about how to earn status through Elite Night credits and how to earn free night certificates with Marriott. And we most recently made a video on how much we think Marriott points are worth, or rather, can be worth, in the right situation. I'm going to link these videos below. I realize you're probably here for the Hyatt talk, but afterwards, if you want to learn more about the Marriott program, you can do so by following those links. Let me talk a little more about why we have pursued Marriott status, and then I'll get back to the subject at hand, which is Hyatt status through the eyes of a Marriott loyalist. So you may wonder, why did we choose Marriott? Well, the biggest reason we chose Marriott is the very large footprint that Marriott has throughout the world. So we used to use Hilton a lot, and we were somewhat loyal to the Hilton program, and we do still like Hilton. But over a couple years span, we traveled quite a bit in Europe in places where there just weren't Hilton hotels, primarily smaller cities and things throughout Europe, but where Marriott did have a presence. So we kind of made that transition. Hilton has a big footprint too, but we just find that the Marriott footprint fits us better. And this footprint is a big deal. We stay in a lot of places, and we've traveled to 25 or so countries throughout the world. And we've always been able to find a Marriott property, which is not true for the other major hotel brands that we've looked at. Now, another thing is that we travel very little inside the United States. And we know that there are issues that people have in the United States with Marriott and with their loyalty program, where there are so many elites and so many high tiered status people that you sometimes don't get all the benefits that you may otherwise get. But that's just not an issue that we run into because we're almost always traveling outside the United States. And if we do travel in the US, we usually stay at cheap Marriott hotels that let us get a status night for not too much money. So we've made room tours of a lot of the Marriott properties we stayed in the last year or two. And you can see those in the room tours playlist, which we'll link below. So another reason we use Marriott is that we like the credit cards and we feel like we can earn good points with them. So most of the credit cards earn free night certificates, and there are kind of higher tier and lower tier free night certificates that you can earn from the credit cards depending on how much the annual fee is or whether it's like a premium type travel card. And we have a video on that talks about all of those, which I mentioned earlier. Um, and the other thing that we enjoy about those credit cards is that they have pretty good earnings, we feel. Most of the cards give you 2 points per dollar on all of your spend. There are Visa cards with Chase and also American Express cards, so that gives you some variety in places where Amex may not be accepted. And generally speaking, they don't have a lot of credits that you have to go out of your way to use, which unfortunately for me, as I've looked more at the Hilton cards, and I used to have a premium Hilton card myself. I still have a free Hilton card, but we just find that there are a lot of credits that you have to work a little bit harder to use to justify the annual fees. And lastly, free night availability with Marriott is usually pretty good. So Marriott uses dynamic pricing for their award nights, which we don't love, but it does mean that most of the time you can find a free night at a hotel, or often at several hotels, in a city when you want to go there. This convenience is a big deal to us, even if it means that we end up paying more points than we might if they were still using their fixed award chart. So, if we're so ingrained in the Marriott system, you may wonder, why are we even looking at Hyatt? There are several reasons why. The fact is, the Marriott Bonvoy program is far from perfect. No one better to relate the shortcomings of a loyalty program than those who use it and are, well, loyal to it. We are far from top tier members with Marriott, and we don't know that we want to be. Sometimes there are just better options, and my wife and I decided it would be good to have a backup brand for when Marriott just isn't a good fit. Despite the small footprint, the Hyatt program is a good option for us, in part because it is different in many ways from the Marriott program. One thing Hyatt still does is use award charts for pricing their free nights, which is sometimes a great alternative to the dynamic pricing that Marriott uses. And this means that Hyatt often offers redemptions for fewer points, and as a sort of corollary to that, has a lot of great sweet spots that we like to take advantage of. I'll give you an example. My wife and I like to stay in the AC Hotel in Ginza in Tokyo, but we have also looked at the courtyard next door to it, as well as several other hotels. Marriott has quite a few hotels in Tokyo, in the 50 to 60,000 points per night range. For our upcoming trip, I had the courtyard in Ginza booked for a little over 50,000 points per night. I found the Hyatt Regency in Shinjuku in Tokyo available for 15,000 points a night, so I booked that instead and canceled our reservation at the courtyard. While we can often earn Marriott points faster than Hyatt points, so it is not a true apples to apples comparison, in terms of absolute points cost, Hyatt is very often superior. Now, along that line, Hyatt points are a great use for Chase's transferable currency, which are called Ultimate Rewards points, or UR for short. You can take a Chase UR point and convert it to either one Hyatt point or one Marriott point. In this case, using my example from Tokyo, the Hyatt Regency in Shinjuku would cost less than a third of the points the Courtyard by Marriott would cost, assuming you paid for the rooms with transferred points. Now, those who watch our other videos know that I do not recommend transferring points to Marriott from either Chase or American Express, because there are far better uses for those points. This leaves those points available for more lucrative transfer partners, like Hyatt. And lastly, we feel Hyatt has a solid reputation as a brand, both in their portfolio of hotels and in the way they treat their loyal members. So we feel it is a good backup brand for us. Okay, so as far as the levels of Hyatt's loyalty program, um, you can earn these either with nights stayed in a calendar year or with base points earned in a calendar year. So base points are like when you stay at a hotel, it's 5 base points per dollar that go toward that. There are other things that go toward that as well. Not really going to focus on that too much. Just going to talk mostly about the nights requirements. So for Discoverist, it's 10 nights. And with either the personal or the business credit card from Chase, you do get Discover status. The business card actually gives you the opportunity to give the Discover status to your employees as well if they have additional cards. Um, but again, that's the perk that comes along with the credit cards. So next is Explorist. That's 30 nights or 50,000 points. And then Globalist, which is the highest, is 60 nights in a year or 100,000 base points. And then there's a lifetime globalist as well, which you can only earn through 1 million lifetime base points. But the highest is globalist, and again, that is at 60 nights. Okay, so we're going to look at the benefits real quick, just kind of a quick overview of each of the levels. The really good benefits are a globalist, obviously, that's the highest. But the other levels don't have a lot of great benefits, but 60 nights for globalist is pretty attainable. It's not too big of a deal, especially when it comes to comparing it with Marriott, where their highest level is 100 nights and you have a spend requirement. And some of the other hotel programs out there and stuff, 60 nights is really not too bad. So, um, the first thing is the base point earning. Again, as I mentioned before, you earn 5 base points per dollar that you spend at the hotels, and then you also get a bonus on that based on your level. So, um, I believe with Globalist, it's up to 30% bonus points. Those do not count toward your base points, but still you get extra points for staying there. Um, you do get some benefits, it says, with Mr. and Mrs. Smith and with the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas. I don't know a whole lot about that yet, but um, I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of great things yet from that, but I guess we'll wait and see. Those are both pretty new with Hyatt, I think. Um, there are some resort fees that are waived on free night awards. And then once you get to Globalist, even if you pay for the stay, uh, the resort fees are waived. So, premium internet, bottled water, stuff that's pretty standard. As far as your room upgrades, you can get a preferred room within the type booked if you're a Discoverist. The Explorist, you can get an upgraded room, but not a suite, or a room with a club lounge access. And then the Globalist will include suites and that club lounge access as well as included with Globalist. So the Elite check-in is just a separate line usually. Sometimes those lines are longer than the regular lines, it seems like. But late checkout, Discoverist is 2 p.m., so is Explorist. Globalist, you can get up to 4 p.m. checkout, which, if you've watched any of our videos on Marriott status, this is one of our favorite benefits. Just cannot overstate it enough. And we have a 9 p.m. flight leaving out of Tokyo. It's just so awesome to be able to go back to the hotel, take a shower, get ready, leave the hotel at 4 rather than check out at 11 or something and leave our luggage and go somewhere. So they do have a partnership with AA, going back to Hyatt here, with American Airlines. And there are some redemption options and stuff there. I'm not going to go into that a lot in this video, but there's guaranteed availability if you book within 48 hours of the Globalist, and a welcome amenity. Again, kind of standard-ish stuff, but the club access or breakfast is a great benefit from Globalist. From what I understand, I have experienced this a little bit. I did get a guest of honor um, gifted to me, actually a couple of them, and I did get breakfast at the Hyatt House in Shibuya in Tokyo. Maybe not the best Hyatt breakfast out there, but it was still good, and it was a great benefit to have. And then free parking on free nights with Globalist. So those are kind of an overview of the benefits. Again, the really good stuff happens in Globalist, but it's not that hard to get considering it's only 60 nights. Okay, so let's compare that, specifically the Globalist level, with a comparable amount of nights with Marriott. So we're going to talk about the Marriott Bonvoy program and its levels. I've highlighted here the Platinum Elite level, which is where we are this year in the Marriott program. Um, as you can see, it's 50 nights per year. It starts at Silver, 10 nights per year. Gold Elite is 25 nights per year. Again, Platinum is 50 nights per year. Titanium is 75 nights per year. And then Ambassador Elite is their highest level. It's 100 nights a year, and you have to have spent 23,000 US dollars in order to qualify for that. So we're mostly going to focus on the Platinum and the Titanium Elite levels, which is kind of similar in nights to what you would have to stay in Hyatt to get Globalist. So at Platinum or Titanium with Marriott, some of the benefits are similar. You get 4 p.m. checkout, breakfast, although Marriott has a weird breakfast benefit system where only some brands actually give you breakfast, and you do get a welcome benefit or a welcome amenity. You also get lounge access if that's something there. And the bonus points are actually a little more generous with Marriott. They give 50% bonus points with Platinum Elite status and 75% bonus points with Titanium Elite status. So, where Hyatt really shines, I think, with Globalist is in the upgrades. I don't have experience as a Globalist other than, again, as kind of the guest of honor stuff where I didn't really stay in hotels with a lot of upgrade potential. But from what I've been told by many people in real life and online, Globalist upgrades are real, and at times they're significant. People even seem to get upgraded at a lot of US properties, which is pretty rare with Marriott. In fact, it seems like Globalist is just a more premium experience overall. So, we talk about the upgrades we've gotten with Marriott in our video on if platinum status is worth it. So, check that out. I'll link it in the description below. In Europe, and especially in Asia, we've had some great upgrades at Marriott properties, but nothing earth shattering. And in fact, the best upgrade we've ever had was at the Marriott in Warsaw, which is sadly no longer a Marriott property. In my mind, in terms of the quote unquote lesser benefits, like the breakfast and the 4 p.m. checkout, Marriott does pretty well and is pretty similar to Hyatt. In the less tangible, like wow factor type benefits, however, Hyatt Globalist status is by all accounts the clear winner here. So let's talk about how far you can get into status with just a credit card. With Marriott, you can actually get platinum status with the Brilliant card from American Express without ever staying in a hotel. Alternatively, or I should say also, you can get up to 40 Elite Night credits per year if you have both the Brilliant card and the Business card, again from American Express, which means you'll need to stay another 35 nights to get titanium. If this seems confusing, go watch our video on Elite Nights Explained, which goes through this process in detail and talks about how credit cards help get you status. Now let's talk about Hyatt. Both the Hyatt Personal Card and the Business Card give you Discover status. The Personal Card also gives you 5 nights toward Globalist and an extra 2 nights for every $5,000 you spend. The Business Card doesn't give nights just for holding it, but it does give you 5 tier qualifying nights for every $10,000 you spend on the card. If you have the Personal Card, you'd still need to stay 55 nights to get Globalist status with Hyatt, or you'd need some combination of nights stayed and spend on the card. As you can see, the path to Marriott Platinum is pretty easy, and if you're willing to pay the $650 annual fee for a credit card, you get it automatically. It's much harder to get Globalist status with Hyatt using a credit card, though it's still possible with a lot of spend. I think this is one reason Hyatt's Globalist status still feels more premium. Unlike other hotel brands, including Hilton, it doesn't feel like everyone is a globalist, and you're more likely to get those good upgrades when there are fewer premium customers around. So, I want to talk about another cool benefit of the Hyatt program, which are milestone rewards. So, aside from earning your status, once you've stayed 20 nights or earned 35,000 base points, you start to earn these milestone rewards on your annual stays. So at 20 nights, and again, I'm going to mostly just focus on the nights, not on the base points qualification, but this is on Hyatt's website if you want to check it out. So at each level, essentially you can choose something you want, and some of the higher levels actually give a couple of benefits. But as you can see here, I mean, you can get extra points on your next stay. You can get some club access awards if you want to visit the lounge while you're somewhere. You can even get preferred seat coupons on American Airlines. At 30 nights, you get a free night, category 1 through 4. And I'm actually going to be releasing a video with this one talking about the category changes for 2025, the updates that are just coming out. I'll talk a little bit about the category 1 to 4 hotels and how those are being impacted for this year. But again, at 30 nights, I mean, you're already getting a free night, plus you get some of this other stuff or your choice of one of these things. Again, extra points, club access, things like that. At 40 nights, you get a guest of honor award. I mentioned earlier, this is something that was gifted to me. So basically, you can use it on yourself or you can give it to somebody else. And you get the globalist experience for a stay of up to 7 nights. So you can use it on award stays, you can use it on eligible paid stays. And one of the really cool benefits of this, I think, when it was gifted to me, I got tier qualifying nights for my stay. I stayed a couple of nights and got those nights. But actually, the person who gifted it to me as well also got a qualifying night credit from Hyatt when I used this the guest of honor. So that's awesome, I think, because it incentivizes giving or gifting the rewards rather than just letting them expire, and it rewards the gifter for promoting the brand. I think it's really cool. Um, so again, there's a lot of stuff here. There's suite upgrades awards that will allow you to be upgraded into a suite, bonus points, main cabin extra seat coupons on American Airlines at 50 nights. I don't want to go through all of these, but you kind of get the idea. So 60 nights, you get a category 1 through 7 free night award. Pretty cool. 70, 80, and 90, you get another guest of honor award, and you can pick some other stuff. And then it goes all the way up to, if you're staying a lot, you get more free nights. And then you just continue to get those benefits until finally at 150 nights, you get the ultimate free night award, which is any hotel category 1 through 8. And it includes some all-inclusive resorts as well. I don't know a lot about it, about these ultimate free night awards, but pretty cool. And you can get the platinum status with American Airlines. Just a lot of great benefits just for staying on top of what you already get for your elite status. So I want to talk about another cool benefit of the Hyatt program, which are milestone rewards. So aside from earning your status, once you've stayed 20 nights or earned 35,000 base points, you start to earn these milestone rewards on your annual stays. So at 20 nights, and again, I'm going to mostly just focus on the nights, not on the base points qualification, but this is on Hyatt's website if you want to check it out. So at each level, essentially you can choose something you want, and some of the higher levels actually give a couple of benefits. But as you can see here, I mean, you can get extra points on your next stay. You can get some club access awards if you want to visit the lounge while you're somewhere. You can even get preferred seat coupons on American Airlines. At 30 nights, you get a free night, category 1 through 4. And I'm actually going to be releasing a video with this one talking about the category changes for 2025, the updates that are just coming out. I'll talk a little bit about the category 1 to 4 hotels and how those are being impacted for this year. But again, at 30 nights, I mean, you're already getting a free night, plus you get some of this other stuff or your choice of one of these things. Again, extra points, club access, things like that. At 40 nights, you get a guest of honor award. I mentioned earlier, this is something that was gifted to me. So basically, you can use it on yourself or you can give it to somebody else. And you get the globalist experience for a stay of up to 7 nights. So you can use it on award stays, you can use it on eligible paid stays. And one of the really cool benefits of this, I think, when it was gifted to me, I got tier qualifying nights for my stay. I stayed a couple of nights and got those nights. But actually, the person who gifted it to me as well also got a qualifying night credit from Hyatt when I used the guest of honor. So that's awesome, I think, because it incentivizes giving or gifting the rewards rather than just letting them expire, and it rewards the gifter for promoting the brand. I think it's really cool. So again, there's a lot of stuff here. There's suite upgrades awards that will allow you to be upgraded into a suite, bonus points, main cabin extra seat coupons on American Airlines at 50 nights. I don't want to go through all of these, but you kind of get the idea. So 60 nights, you get a category 1 through 7 free night award. Pretty cool. 70, 80, and 90, you get another guest of honor award, and you can pick some other stuff. And then it goes all the way up to, if you're staying a lot, you get more free nights. And then you just continue to get those benefits until finally at 150 nights, you get the ultimate free night award, which is any hotel category 1 through 8. And it includes some all-inclusive resorts as well. I don't know a lot about it, about these ultimate free night awards, but pretty cool. And you can get the platinum status with American Airlines. Just a lot of great benefits just for staying on top of what you already get for your elite status. So I want to talk about another cool benefit of the Hyatt program, which are milestone rewards. So aside from earning your status, once you've stayed 20 nights or earned 35,000 base points, you start to earn these milestone rewards on your annual stays. So at 20 nights, and again, I'm going to mostly just focus on the nights, not on the base points qualification, but this is on Hyatt's website if you want to check it out. So at each level, essentially you can choose something you want, and some of the higher levels actually give a couple of benefits. But as you can see here, I mean, you can get extra points on your next stay. You can get some club access awards if you want to visit the lounge while you're somewhere. You can even get preferred seat coupons on American Airlines. At 30 nights, you get a free night, category 1 through 4. Okay, so Marriott does have its own version of milestone rewards, which it calls an annual choice benefit. It's actually possible to earn 2 of these per year, one at 50 nights and one at 75 nights. I'm showing the one at 50 nights here. The 75 night annual choice benefit does have a couple extra choices, like a free night award. So the choices here are you can choose 5 nightly upgrade awards, essentially to upgrade you into a better room. They used to be called, I believe, Suite Night Awards. They stopped calling them that because it doesn't necessarily get you into a suite, but should give you an upgrade. We were upgraded to a junior suite recently at the Westin at LAX. Got a room tour video of that if you want to check it out. We'll post it in the description. It's in our room tour playlist, but it was an upgrade. It was a decent room, not a mind-blowing upgrade by any means. Another thing you can do is get $1,000 off of a mattress that is from one of the Marriott Bonvoy retail brands, which is supposed to mirror what are in some of their hotels. You can gift Marriott Bonvoy Silver Elite status to a family member or a friend. Silver Elite status is not worth anything, in my opinion, actually, so I certainly wouldn't go for that. You can also give yourself 5 elite night credits toward the next year's status if you don't think you're going to get there. Um, and again, if you were at 75 nights, you'd have the option of a free night award. And then there are some charity benefit things where you can have $100 donation made in your name toward a couple of different charities. So we've chosen the nightly upgrade awards, but we didn't get a lot of use out of them. Although again, the Westin LAX, it wasn't an upgrade, or it wasn't a great upgrade. And again, I'll link the video room tour, but this year we're taking the 5 extra elite night credits, which isn't much reward really, but it's a good option for us this year because we're in the process of buying a new home. We're not going to be traveling much at all this year. And again, we had those free night certificates from Hyatt. I got the Chase credit card this year. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we're going to be staying in 4 Hyatt properties. So kind of focusing more on Hyatt this year. And we're just going to make sure we maintain our platinum status so we can get that with Marriott. So we can get progress toward our lifetime status. But the annual choice benefit is nice, but it doesn't really hold a candle to the milestone rewards that are offered by Hyatt. Okay, so let's talk about how you earn Hyatt points. I'm just going to go over the basics here, and I'm sure there are other opportunities to get points. And if you want to share any, please do leave them in the comments below. So the first is stays. As I've mentioned a couple of times now, you get 5 base points per dollar at most brands, plus bonus points based on your status. The next thing is bonus point promotions. They do have 2 times or 3 times points, bonus points per night, things like that. So you can earn some extra points when you stay. And as I mentioned before, and as we saw as I was going through them, the milestone rewards offer a lot of opportunities to get some extra points as well. So this last one, which is credit card spend, is something I want to cover in more detail in another video. So keep an eye out for that. We'll also look at other benefits offered by the credit cards, like the ability to earn free night certificates, in that video. So I will just touch on the points earning potential here though. Hyatt has both a personal and a business co-branded credit card from Chase. These cards earn 4 points per dollar on spend at Hyatt on top of the 5 points per dollar you earn directly from Hyatt. The cards do earn 2 points per dollar on some other categories as well, like restaurants, but the earning generally isn't fantastic. What is great, however, is that if you have another Chase card that earns Ultimate Rewards points, those points can be transferred to Hyatt at a 1-to-1 ratio. Assuming you have a card that allows you to transfer to Chase's partners, like the Sapphire cards. Chase has several cards that earn the ultimate rewards or the UR currency, and many of them offer more points per dollar on things like restaurants, travel, and even rotating quarterly categories. The Bilt credit card also has Hyatt as a transfer partner at a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you transfer points from either program to Hyatt, you can rack up points pretty quickly. And this is the way a lot of people get their Hyatt points. Incidentally, you can also transfer points from these programs to Marriott, also at a 1-to-1 ratio. If you remember my example from earlier, however, talking about using 15,000 points for a night at a Hyatt in Tokyo versus over 50,000 points for a Marriott in Tokyo, you'll see why we don't think transferring points to Marriott in this fashion is a good idea. And I do just want to mention, again, I will be releasing another video talking about the category upgrades. A lot of those are the category updates for Hyatt for 2025. A lot of those 15,000 point nights in Tokyo are gone, replaced by 20,000 point nights, but still, I believe the point stands. So you may think that, given that Hyatt redemptions require so many fewer points, and that both Hyatt and Marriott transfer from partners at a 1-to-1 ratio, that it might be a no-brainer to always go with Hyatt. That's definitely not the case, at least for us. As I mentioned earlier in the video, Hyatt redemptions are often unavailable or hard to find, whereas Marriott redemptions are almost always available in my experience. Couple that with Marriott's massive footprint, and you can see it is not as clear-cut as it seems. The other thing to consider here is that there are opportunities to earn Marriott points faster than Hyatt points, and it's important to consider these as part of the equation. Specifically, you earn more absolute points when staying at a Marriott property than at a Hyatt property. We recently did a whole video comparing the points you'd earn from Marriott, Hyatt, Hilton, and IHG, and also compared those points to what you could earn by booking directly through your credit card's travel portals. It can get a little complicated, so check that video out if you want to see the points total worked out. But the gist of it is that you can earn up to 21 points per dollar on Marriott purchases if you use a Marriott credit card and have platinum status, and even another 2.5 points per dollar if you're titanium or above. Contrast that with 10.5 points per dollar if you're a globalist member and you pay for your Hyatt stay with a Hyatt credit card. It would be 9.5 points with Discover status, which is what we use in that other video. In terms of absolute points, Marriott does make up for some measure of its redemptions being more expensive by giving you more points when you stay with them. Also, most of Marriott's co-branded credit cards earn 2 points per dollar on everyday spending, as well as more points in bonus categories. Some of these are pretty lucrative, like the 4 points per dollar you earn on gas and dining with the Marriott Business Card from American Express. All that is to say that I still think Hyatt's award pricing is more generous, though it isn't as clear-cut as it probably seems at first glance. Now, as I've mentioned a couple of times, Hyatt still uses a fixed award chart, though there are some exceptions to this in some of their newly acquired brands. I think there's tremendous value in the chart, although I am worried that someday they'll move to a dynamic pricing model like most award programs use these days. They did just announce their updates for 2025, and they are still on this award chart, so for now at least I hope we're safe for at least another year. So the chart, as you can see, has a categories 1 through 8 for the hotels. It then has an off-peak, a standard, and a peak price for each of the categories. So, for example, at a category 1, the off-peak price would be 3,500 points. The standard price would be 5,000 points, and the peak price would be 6,500 points. And that's just based on when you book and if it's considered peak or off-peak time. So I just want to highlight the Category 2 pricing for a second. I recently booked a Category 2 hotel, the Hyatt Regency, at Taipei's TPE Airport, on off-peak pricing for 6,500 points. For someone who has gone years without finding a redemption under 15,000 points with Marriott, and it's usually much higher than that, this was a great find for me. I think this is a great reason to have Hyatt as a backup brand for us, and it is definitely one of the main reasons we chose to go with Hyatt. So that about wraps up our review of the World of Hyatt program through the eyes of someone who already has status with Marriott. I hope the comparisons we made here are useful and that it helps with any decisions you may be making between these two programs. I think, for us at least, there's a definite place for both Hyatt and Marriott in my wife and I's travel. Now, throughout the video, I have mentioned the Hyatt credit cards from Chase, and I've touched on transferring points to Hyatt from Chase's Ultimate Rewards program. Soon, we'll release a video focusing on these credit cards, and we'll go into depth about how to get free night certificates, which Chase cards can earn you the most points to transfer to Hyatt, and what else to consider when choosing a card. So please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to be notified when that video is released. And also, if you found this video helpful, we'd love it if you'd hit that like button. Thanks for watching.